Hi everyone, my name is Kier-La Janisse, and I'm a film writer, documentarian, and producer with Severin Films. And I'm here today to talk a bit about this incredible trailer for The Savage Eye, a film made collectively by Joseph Strick, Ben Maddow, and Sidney Meyers over the course of several years, and completed in 1959 when it premiered at the Edinburgh Film Festival. Now, I saw this trailer years before I ever saw the film because it used to play regularly before features at the Alamo Drafthouse Cinema back in the early 2000s when I used to work there. And the trailer itself is in the holdings of the American Genre Film Archive, who scanned it for our use here. This film has been described as a documentary, as a Maddow film, and in a sense it's a desperate and angry one-woman play typical of mid-century theater, but also bearing some similarity to the purgatorial cinema of films like Carnival of Souls. Two things of note about the film itself are the locations and the dialogue. This movie spits its dialogue, and it is all internal dialogue recorded in voiceover, not as narration so much as a vitriolic stream of consciousness debate between a recently divorced woman, played by stage actress Barbara Baxley, and the voice in her head, performed by Gary Merrill, who had previously narrated Sidney Meyers' Oscar-nominated documentary, The Quiet One. At the time of making The Savage Eye, Gary Merrill was also recovering from an acrimonious split with Bette Davis. I felt lost and unsure what to do, he wrote, mirroring the purgatorial divorce narrative of The Savage Eye. Contrasting the interiority of the film's narrative is its visual documentation of Los Angeles in the late 1950s. The physicality of wrestlers and strippers and ecstatic Christians, the audio overload of free jazz and the bustling automobile culture on the city's streets and highways. To the film's devastated protagonist, this is all an apocalyptic spectacle. Now, I talk about the centrality of the film's dialogue, but all of that came later. The project started in 1956, but it was originally conceived as an experimental documentary in which various historical figures, Hogarth, Dante, and Virgil, reflected on the hell of Los Angeles. And after many script revisions, they instead settled on the idea of LA through the eyes of a woman struggling with her own self-loathing in a city that reflects those feelings back at her. And even though the film has 3 directors, it also had a cadre of volunteer camera people who went on to be quite successful in their own right, including Haskell Wexler, street photographer Helen Levitt, who also shot stills for and co-wrote Sidney Meyers' The Quiet One, and Jack Coofer, who was later nominated for an Oscar for his cinematography on Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Writer Ben Maddow came from a documentary background but started writing narrative screenplays in the late 40s, most notably The Asphalt Jungle in 1950. And then after being blacklisted in 1952, he wrote several scripts for Philip Yordan, who often acted as a front for blacklisted writers. And he's a whole nother story. To hear Joseph Strick speak of it, his sentiments reflect Judith's in the film. The vulgarity, the junk culture. So this anger she expresses in the film is not just coming from her, it's coming from her creators. This is what life is like, said Strick in an interview. This is what I see. This is what I want you to see.